time these days. I'm paid by 2 systems to work on it. So basically what Ubuntu is the entire family of distributions under Ubuntu. Then we have the Unity desktop, which is one flavor of Ubuntu, and then there's Ubuntu desktop, which is one flavor.
You guys are great at working. Can you just open, for whoever it's working, you can open webchat.freenode.net and just do this. Enter a nickname for yourself, enter #KD in and press connect.
Alright, so Ubuntu is one flavor, and then there's other flavors like Edubuntu, Xubuntu, Lubuntu, which are recognized flavors. So it's basically you take Ubuntu, the base, which is the base system, and then you install KD on top of it. That's Ubuntu. Then you install Unity on top of it. That's your Unity desktop. And then you install XFCE on top of it. That's Xubuntu. So instead of Unity on Ubuntu, we have KD installed by default. So if you run Ubuntu, you can install Ubuntu desktop and have the exact same experience as you would install Ubuntu. The underlying system is exactly the same. So there's absolutely no difference if you're running Ubuntu desktop and Ubuntu desktop or just Ubuntu desktop installed from ubuntu.org. So,
and it's not just Ubuntu. You have heard of Fedora?
Yeah.
So even Fedora is Linux, right? Technically even Android is Linux. So all these things have Linux as the base system. It's just the kernel. You need more stuff on that to be able to use it. You need a shell, you need a desktop environments. So what people do is, let's say I like KDE, okay, and you like something else. So both of us will actually take Linux kernel and install our favorite desktop environment on top of that. Okay? And I will call it Shantanu something, and you call it what's your name? Huh? Anu. So you will call it the Anu operating system.
Shantanu Ubuntu.
Shantanu Ubuntu something. Okay. So that's what distributions are. A collection of different software made, which is used to make your system work. So then again, what's the difference? There are some differences in the packages, and the main difference is in the way that the different things are put. So Fedora has a different way of coding the system. Ubuntu has a different way of coding the system. System D and D. So and you basically try them out and see which one do you like the best. At the end of the day, they are Linux. The same commands will work. There will be small differences. That's it. Like that. It's called a flavor. That's the reason it's called a flavor. Strawberry, chocolate. There's no reason why you should go and have strawberry or chocolate. Yeah. Thank you.
So the way you explain, like you're supposed to submit one patch whenever we find something and we fix it. I mean, what if like there is some generic function, it has a dependence, like some other thing has, like more than one thing has a dependency on it, and by our patch, this thing gets fixed. But how do we debug if other things are not breaking? Is there any series of tests you can perform?
So let's say there's something called KD libs. You want to talk about that? Okay. So there's something called KD libs, which is the base library that all KD applications use. So going by common sense, they are just doing something not base. So let's say you change something in KD libs. Yesterday you saw some. Is there any KD class that we saw? KD no, that's for today. Sorry, I got confused. Sorry. So just like you, KD has some of its own classes, and those classes will finally be implemented in C++. Let's say you fix something in that. Okay. Let's say you fix something in KURL. He already has one. He will get the whole box if we start using it. So, so let's say you fix something there. Then mostly we have some tests to run that you will actually run the unit test and everything. But coverage might not be very good. What you will actually do is you will put this patch for review for sure, and somebody will really for sure point out that, dude, okay, you know, this is used there, this will break this. If still 1% that goes through, the people who actually then try the beta versions of KD will figure out something is wrong somewhere. Then you can figure out using Git, what did you go wrong, where did you find the problem. So yes, there are tests, but then let's say you change something in Plasma at the very top, and there are maybe some GUI applications that are using it. So let's say I'm using Plasma Media Center, and you change something that I used. Next day when I build Plasma Media Center with your
has a maintainer who is finally responsible for the project. It is his responsibility to make sure nothing breaks. So even if you haven't tested it and you aren't sure that something else might break, at the end of the day, it is his responsibility. He knows the code base inside out. So if something is going to break, he'll have enough knowledge. Okay, this is not right. This might break something, and he'll tell you. You're starting off. It's okay if you break stuff. Alright? The people who are completely in charge, they'll know the code base inside out. They'll see a patch and see, okay, this is good. This is not good. And even if you write a patch, it's not all the responsibility of breaking something is not always yours. If you go through the review board, everyone else is saying, seeing that, okay, this patch is good, I approve. And multiple people will approve. So the onus of responsibility is everyone, the entire community. Okay, we all saw this patch, we didn't see it. Big deal. We'll fix it. Right? So don't worry about breaking things. It happens and it's a part of learning. I've broken crazy things. For the 4.10 series, which just was this massive release, I broke one of the biggest features there is. And that was while I was trying to optimize some memory usage. I was like, oh, this is good, let me push this in last minute, and I broke everything. Then I had to contact all the distributions that please get this patch in specially, that it breaks everything otherwise. So stuff like that happens, it's normal. This question at the back.
Is it compulsory that we have to do most of the coding in just like those Y editor or git editor? Or else just can we go for any other editor except those two?
The great thing about Linux is this, it's about choice. So we are showing the default ones like Kjwala, you create and everything. You're free to use anything you want. Some people use all, some people just use VI, some people use Nano. I actually know some people who have written their own editor and they swear by it. And they only use that, so it's your choice. At the end of the day, all that matters is that when you're submitting a patch, you give them the diff. So this is a standard tool for generating the diff. Okay? And however you make the changes, that's up to you. Any possible way you want to do it, that's up to you. Alright?
Last time, let's say I found like what was wrong with the other thing also, and I fixed both the things. Is it supposed to be two different patches, or is it supposed to be one patch?
It's a little hard to say. If it's in different components, then it's a different patch. If it's the same relevant piece of code, it's the same patch.
Even though
It's a little hard to say, but it mostly goes by, if you think that this is, similar class, it's the same thing, it's the same, like, when you say, you're changing something, when you write a commit message, if it's related to that, then maybe you should go in one commit. It's a hard question to answer because it totally depends on your scenario. Worst case scenario, you will do it in two commits, someone will say, no, make this into one commit, or if someone will say, hey, split this into two commits. I get a lot of commits which are like, I think it's 5 patches worth, and I'm like, please, 5 different if you request, each of these are different things. So someone will tell you, you get these kind of things with experience.
and any commit dimensions we have to follow, like the way we write commit messages.
Actually, yes, but I will show that during the hack test, and even if you don't follow that, it's not a big deal. It's just a recommended practice, so don't worry about that.
And editors is like one more thing. If you want some geeks to fight, right? Just say which is the best editor.
There's it called religious wars. So there's the whole war against Emacs and Vim. It actually gets very heated debates. In fact, when I went for an interview at Hotworth, during my interview process for 40 minutes, we were sitting and debating the merits of Emacs versus Vim. This is my interview. We're like, yeah, forget all the coding stuff. He already knows that. We were actually debating for 40 minutes. No, Vim is better. Emacs is better. And then they're like, okay, yeah, we should do some kind of proper interview questions.
Yeah, that was okay. You answer it. Yeah.
You were explaining about the rules of code. I just want to ask you that what kind of ideas we can give during the process for the KDE?
Let me remember, because I gave my idea. Yeah. So back in 2010, I applied for 2 ideas. One, so the ideas thing is there will be a list of ideas already, and you can propose your idea as well. So I applied for one of those ideas, and I also gave another proposal of a new idea. So there was this project called Plasma Media Center that I showed you, right? That was just started being developed that time. So there was a proposal, hey, let's connect Plasma Media Center to YouTube, Flickr, but at that time it wasn't even able to play videos properly, the local videos. So my idea proposal was, okay, let's do one thing, let's get it working, the basic functionality first, and then do all these things. But the other guy who actually, so I proposed this idea and I wrote a proposal for that. So that's basically how you do it. You have to get with a new idea and tell people why is this important. In your proposal, at the first section is why. Why this idea? What does it aim to do? What will the improvements that this will bring? And then use cases and things like that. So that's you pick out an idea and you say why it's useful. You convince other people. So GSOC is not just about coding. It's actually more about how to communicate to people. When you go to your company, you get a job. You'll have to talk a lot with other people and then design that. Okay, you'll have some fights as well. Let's design it this way or let's design it this way. No, we should do it this way. We should do it this way. So that's another thing that you learn from GSOC on how to work in a team of 5 other people who are situated in maybe other places. Your mentor might be in Germany. Your mentor might be in Japan. You don't know. So it's a pretty nice experience to do that. Yeah.
Anyone can see something.
Or even if you explain that this kind of activities is available in KD as well.
This is what?
KD, for KD. You told that if you are not getting selected at GSOC, you can go for a season of KD. So in that also we have to give some ideas and
Same thing. So basically, you can do 2 things. One, if the summer of code thing that you applied for, the proposal that you wrote, if there was some other person who had to take up the same thing, then it's okay. Then you propose a new idea that you work on season of KD. But let's say the idea you took for GSOC and the proposal you wrote that was not accepted just because there were not enough slots. We have a fixed number of slots for KD for every organization. So you were just not selected because it was like unlucky and unfortunate, because we have to do that. Then you can just continue that idea in season of KD. That's what I did. So my first 2009 application was for Classmate, the ID that I showed you. So the component that I wanted to work on, that was not something that the GSOC guy was working on. So I said, fine, you work on that and I'll work on this component. So the place where you actually write the code, that's something I wrote, and the other guy wrote these things. And there's a Git version control toolbar and things like that. So this is technically the only KDE application which has my name on it. So just to show off. So I was the author of the editing component here. So that's the basically the thing. If you are not selected for that idea, we continue with the same idea and something. Okay. Any more questions? Hey, can you pass the mic?
I have my brother, he is in 8th standard and he has some basic knowledge about the C language.
Okay.
And just said about the Google coding that is for school students. So actually I just want to know more about that thing.
Right. So Google Code is not really about coding. It's about tasks like documentation, small tasks that kids can do. What's the age limit? Do you know? Right. So 13 to 17 is the age limit. Basically it's not just about coding tasks. For example, you don't really need to know C. You can write documentation. You can clean up Bugzilla. You can make videos. There's this one kid who made a really good video on KD at Google Coding, and so small tasks like that kids can manage. And usually mentors like Lydia and a couple of other people write these tasks on the Google Coding page, and you have a limited time in which you have to solve those tasks. And then if you need more time, you can ask for more time on the Google Coding tracker. Usually the time limit is about 48 hours, but you can ask for more time obviously. And once you take up a task, you have to complete it. And if you don't complete it, you don't get any points. But if you complete it, you get 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, something like that. And the top 10 people, 10-15 people are flown to Google, California. And they've given a tour of Google California over there. Everyone else who participates gets a certificate. They had monetary compensation the last thing they did that. Alright, so they give t-shirts and certificates now these days because
summary is it's very easy tasks.
yeah, so it's easy tasks for kids basically.
And it's not as big that 3 months or something.
Right, it's not as intensive as Google Summer of Code.
It's not that intensive.
With Google Summer of Code, that's a proper job. Like that's a proper day job.
And for more questions, you can ask them in lunch or during the workshop because we have other talks to come. That doesn't mean you don't ask. Please ask. We just have a simple physical limitation on time, so we can't do anything about it.
You can give them the URL for GCI.
GCI, oh, will the Google. So yeah.
Thank you, Shantanu. Yeah, to ask questions, we have few teachers to give away. Now I would like to invite Rishabh Arora on the stage. He will be talking about KD EDU. So let's welcome him.
Can I have the mic for a second?
What time is lunch?
By the way, is anyone having issues connecting to Freenode? Just raise your hands, show of hands who's having issues connecting to Freenode. It's like 6-7 people. Do you get a connection limit reached?
Yeah.
Right? We'll get that fixed. I'll just need to ask the admins to increase the connection.
They understood it separate. Huh? But you just
Hello everyone, I am Rishabh and I am a contributor to a project called K-Stars, part of the KD education project, and that's what I'll be talking about today, the KD education project. So for now, the applications and whatever you've seen about KD mainly involves the UI and KD functionality. So there are a lot of applications out there which are aimed towards students and adults and teachers, and these applications are helping people all over the world learn new stuff. So these applications range from stuff that will help small kids or even adults learn the alphabet, and from that it ranges to complex astronomical softwares, and so we'll be talking about all these softwares and hopefully some demos of these softwares. So the KD education project comprises of a lot of applications. I'll try my best to demo as many applications as I can. The main advantage of working with KD educational applications is that you will be targeting an audience which will be interacting daily with your with whatever you build upon, and the complexity of these projects varies from tiny projects which are based on memory games to large applications, for instance physical simulation application. Right. So this is a list of the basic applications that we have in the KD education project. So we'll be demoing almost all of them, and the main purpose of this talk is to introduce these applications to you, and since these are educational applications, every improvement and every contribution you make to them is very, very valuable. Okay. So to start off everything, I guess we can start with a very basic application called college quiz. Right. So this application does nothing except introduce letters to students. Now the stuff that you see right now, for instance, it just says S, right? So this is the English language. Now this is pretty trivial to you, but for instance, you are introducing the English alphabet to students who have never heard, who do not know how to speak English and are starting out in, for instance, kindergarten. So these students need a very easy and very plain interface which would help them learn the language and how it sounds. So I'll just give a demo. So did everyone hear that? Right. Was it audible? G. Right. So right. So the point is, these applications are very, very simple to improve upon if you want. There aren't many bugs in the simple applications, but there are a lot of scope for improvement in the larger applications. And if you've just begun working with KD, it's a very nice idea to open the source code for these simple applications and use them as a learning platform for yourself. So these serve the dual purpose of serving as a learning platform for students and as well as people who are new to development for KD. Okay, so let's talk about the other applications over here. So we have applications which would help you plot. Yes, no question.
this application letter, you just show that students have to type letter not in there. So if he knows that letter, he first have to search that letter in keyboard, right?
Right.
So what is the use of this?
Right, so whenever you press that letter, it also enunciates whatever you're typing. That's the first thing. The other thing is, the language that I used for the demonstration was English, right? There are other languages too, KD is not restricted to just one language. There are a lot of languages available. In fact, for this particular project, there are 36 languages available. And for instance, the student could be writing everything in French. Right, so he needs to learn the French alphabet. It's pronounced differently, it works differently, and the stage 1 is one letter, and the stage 2 of this application has the other sounds of the available in that language. So it would let the student type out, for instance, how to pronounce sh. Right, so it would let the student type out s and h, and it would tell how to pronounce that. Right. So this is very, very basic, very trivial, and so this also introduces another scope of improvement and how you can contribute to projects. A contribution does not have to be plainly in terms of code. You can also contribute to projects in terms of improvement. For instance, you could write a new so for instance, you know Punjabi or Gujarati, right? So introduce a new module into Kaletres and introduce students to Gujarati, right? So and it's not restricted to kids in preschool. Like if I wanted to learn Gujarati and I don't know how to pronounce a single letter, I would use an application like this. Okay, so let's try using other applications. Let's go to one of my favorites. Let's go to STEP. So this is STEP. This is one of the most popular applications of the education suite. What this is it's a physical simulator. So you can add stuff into this interface, and this would simulate what would happen if physical forces were acting upon it. Right. So I'm not sure about this college, but in most colleges in first year we are forced to study physics alone. Right. So motion. We have 16 blocks, one block on top of the other. We pull out one block. How are they going to interact, etc., etc., etc. Pretty boring stuff. Right. Now what you could do is simulate all that in STEP. Right. So let's open a simple example. It's limited, the resolution is limited. I'll just create a new one then. Okay, so we could say we have two particles over here, and the particles are connected with a spring. Now what happens when we apply some forces onto these, right? So we say this has the weight force, and this has some velocity in this direction. Okay, it was too heavy, so it fell down. So it has the undo history over here, so you can go back in time and change things. So we created a spring, and instead of gravitational weight force, we simply add So depending upon what parameters you give, things are going to fly off from the screen in different ways. Okay, so this is something which helps even in